That winners of the Heineken Prize go on to win the Nobel Prize is no longer a coincidence. Already 14 laureates have traveled on to Stockholm.
That we're very proud of, and actually that's what the Academy can be very proud of, because they obviously have picked very well, and it is a great honor for us.
There are many different prizes, obviously, the Nobel being one of the most prestigious. But I thought that this Heineken Prize was at that very same level.
The Heineken Prize is one of those predictors of the Nobel Prize. There are not so many prizes like that get it right so often. And what's good about the committee and how it works, I've not been involved in it, is that they make these decisions with relatively, in some cases, relatively young researchers before they finally quite made it. So I think it reflects they really do know what they're doing.
After 16 years, a new scientific discipline was added to the Heineken Prizes: cognitive science. Increasingly, this relatively new area attracts more attention for its influence on thought and development in our modern world.
It was actually Professor Lefeld who, when he was about to retire from the Academy, took me out to lunch and talked me into this.
That is really my dearest memory about the Heineken Prizes, the establishment of the new prize in cognitive science.
I was always slightly hesitant, and I know my father, as it says in the little brochure, was very interested in the workings of the mind, but also the fact that nowadays we can actually see what happens in the brain and see what happens through imaging and everything.
This is not foreign stuff to her, and I could therefore come with all sorts of examples of cognitive science research on men, on animals. And she showed a real intense interest in all this.
This particular subject that Professor Lefeld convinced me with was how we learn language and how we learn to speak, and this is fascinating to see how this is developed in humans.
To my really big surprise, 2 weeks later, or less than 2 weeks later, I got a message: yes, the prize will come.
It was great fun. I remember that. I remember being sitting at the table with Mrs. Heineken, and this was the first year that the Cognitive Science Prize had been awarded, and I was very worried I was going to do something that would make her disappointed with the Cognitive Prize. So I tried to be on my best behavior. The thing that impressed me most was that were the other winners of the prize. That I kept saying to myself, "Gee, I picked the wrong career." There are all those things I should have done instead of what I did do.
Already 50 years have passed since Professor Erwin Charkoff received the first Heineken Prize. And at that same time, it is the third occasion that 5 young and highly promising scientists have been awarded the Heineken Young Scientist Award. Their research areas are the same disciplines as those of the Heineken laureates.
It was the idea of Robert Dijkgraaf who came up with this plan, and I think it's been a wonderful initiative. It's hugely exciting, I suppose, if you're a young scientist, to be able to meet one of your heroes and to be able to spend some time with them. But I'm very, very happy about this, and I think it's one of the great innovations and initiatives that have been taken in the last few years.
It is with these young scientists that we look towards the future. A future in which people will strive to make the world a better place. And, without doubt, the prospect of any number of new discoveries by potential Nobel Prize winners over at least the next 50 years. Let's make this 100 years.